Hi everybody, my name is Melissa and welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be finally doing my book haul. So I mentioned in my mid-year book freakout tag that I was holding off on buying any books. I kind of just wanted to read the books on my shelves, which I failed at. So recently, in the past couple weeks, I made a couple different Amazon, Barnes & Noble runs, things like that, and picked up a good number of books. Let me see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 12 new books that I picked up and that I really want to read very, very soon. A lot of these have a lot of hype surrounding them and I cannot wait to pick them up. So I don't have them in any particular order, so I'm just gonna kind of grab from the top and talk about the books that I recently purchased. So let's go ahead and get started. So the very first book that I have on my stack is Beach Read by Emily Henry. So this is a book that was on my most anticipated books of 2020. This book has had rave reviews and basically is like this emotional story romance book about these two characters that are authors, and they're kind of in this writing rut. So they decided that they're going to go ahead and switch genres, and they are both at the same beach. They have neighboring beach houses and romance ensues. So this also does apparently have some heartache to go along with it. I think one of the characters is dealing with loss and grief and things like that. So that's kind of good to know, because looking at this cover, you would not expect there to be any type of sadness involved. So I really am excited to go ahead and pick this up very, very soon. So the next book that I want to pick up, and is one that I can't believe I didn't purchase until very recently, is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is one that I ended up picking up because I really want to read the sequel. I heard it's even better than this first novel. I don't believe you have to read them in order, but I could be wrong, don't quote me on that. But basically I heard this has a great rom-com, great representation, all of the above, and the sequel's even better, which I've heard amazing things about, just as much as the second, so I really can't wait to dive into this one. The third book that I ended up picking up is Alice by Christina Henry. So this is like a fantasy horror book, which I don't read a lot of horror. Honestly, I barely even dip my toes into the thriller mystery genre. So when I heard about this, it's basically about this girl named Alice, and it's kind of a twist on the Lewis Carroll Alice in Wonderland. So Alice is basically in this mental institution, and you know, who knows? That's really all I know and all I really want to know going into this. It has like a 3.6 ratings on Goodreads. I don't know that many people that have read it, but a couple people mentioned that they did and really enjoy this author's work. Maybe not particularly this book, but it's the first one. It's the one that caught my attention when I heard about it, so I'm very interested, because I do like reading about books that have to deal with like mental illness and mental health and things like that. So even though this is kind of like a fantasy take on it. So that's really all I know about it, and definitely want to get into it. So the next book I ended up picking up is in the YA genre. I believe it's a new release as well, and that is Slay by Brittany Morris. When I heard that this is a Black main character who creates this online game, I want to say, it may not be online, but I think she's a coder, does all this stuff and creates this game. That just sounded so interesting to me, and I really want to see how this book plays out. I haven't seen too many people actually reading it yet, but if you've read it, tell me what you think about it, because I am really intrigued by this whole premise, and especially, you know, just this cover is absolutely gorgeous to begin with. So yes, definitely really excited to pick this one up very soon. A genre that I really want to get more into are thrillers and mysteries, and I ended up picking up Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I have a couple of this author's books, never have read them. I don't know why I keep buying them. I know that there's a lot of hype surrounding each and every book as soon as they come out, and this cover definitely caught my eye. It's just so eye-grabbing and eye-catching, and the fact that it kind of like was described as this like mystery house that this character inherits from their father, and like scary things are happening. I'm really intrigued by that, and it kind of was compared to House on Haunted Hill or something like that, and I really enjoyed that movie, so definitely am intrigued and want to see more and read more about that in this book. If you follow my channel at all, really, you know that I really don't read too many graphic novels or any at all, and I probably read 1 or 2 mangas in my whole life, but that's something I do want to fix. I want to kind of go outside my comfort zone and try something else. And one of the graphic novels that I've heard really, really good things about is Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. So This is one that I believe it is about a male-male romance, and I think they're in high school, and just the fact that like these just look so fun and so cute, and I've heard really, really good things about this series. I think there's 3 volumes in it now. It definitely really intrigued me, and I want to give this a try. I've heard it's really cute, really loving, and I just really need that right now because with everything going on, I need something very heartwarming, and I heard this is it. So I had planned on participating in the Koreathon, but unfortunately this book didn't arrive in time, and that was the buddy read for it, The Silence of Bones by June Her. I really wanted to read this. Basically, it's kind of like a historical mystery young adult novel based in Korea, and this girl, I guess, is helping this detective find out who I think is a killer, but basically it's set in like 1800, and yeah. Basically, I've heard really good things about it. I keep saying basically, but I've heard really good things about this book. I love this cover, and I do plan on picking this one up in the very near future because I do want to read more books that are, you know, outside of my comfort zone as well. Even though this is young adult, it's more of a historical kind of mystery and something that I don't really dive into as much. So I figured this would be a really great start. I ended up picking up The Wicker King by Kay Akram because Riley from Riley Marie ended up raving about this book when she finished it, and honestly it sounded so intriguing. It's about 2 guys. I believe they're in high school if I'm not mistaken, and one of them kind of has this like fantastical world living in, and he's kind of like living it. And I believe it deals with like mental illness, things like that, which I did mention previously that it's something that I do enjoy reading about. And she did mention how, so if you look at it kind of like as the mental health kind of progresses, the pages start getting darker and darker. And so I found that really interesting that the book also like plays out in the style of the book, how it was made. I'm not good with words today, I apologize. I've had too much coffee and I just need to eat something. But I've heard fabulous things about this book, and I'm very excited to dive into it. I think I mentioned this is a male-male romance. If I'm not mistaken, it has that in there, but definitely want to get to this, and I absolutely adore this cover too. So the next 2 books I'm going to talk about are in the adult fantasy genre. I can't believe I'm just now picking them up. One of them just came out in paperback, so I was waiting for that, to be quite honest. One of them is The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. This is an author that wrote the Inheritance trilogy. I believe that is what's called, or maybe this is the Inheritance. One of them, like the 5th season. She has a bunch of different series that she's written that have won many awards, and this one kind of caught my eye more so than the other ones. I've been reading a lot of romance books lately, a lot of Kindle Unlimited romance books, and I want to get back into the adult fantasy genres and read more of those because I am really missing that, and the world and world building and things like that. So I picked this one up in hopes that I could, you know, start getting back into that. The next adult fantasy book that I picked up was The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. Like I said, this is the one that I was waiting to come out in paperback. I believe the second book is coming out soon if it's not out already. This is an African-inspired fantasy story about this man. I believe he can become a dragon, if I'm not mistaken, and they're very rare, and I think he just wanted nothing to do with the war that's happening, and he ends up going back, and it's like a revenge story and fantasy and dragons, really all of the above I'm here for. So I'm very excited to pick this one up and try it out. I was a little bit intimidated by the size, I'm not gonna lie, so that's one of the reasons why I held off on purchasing it. But if I can read Brandon Sanderson's The Way of Kings, I definitely think that I can pick this one up. I have 2 more books in the romance category, fantasy romance, and one of them is going to be From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is one that, I don't know, I was kind of like wary about picking this up, but the fact is I've heard really good things about it. I think it's a vampire romance. I love this author's YA books. I've read a bunch of her romance books as well, love them so much. And the fact that vampires are kind of making this comeback, I'm ready for it, and I've heard really good things about this. So hopefully I can pick this up soon, and I did not realize it was going to be so big, but yeah, definitely am very excited to have this in my hands. And unfortunately when it got shipped to me, it got bent, so I don't know if you can see the crease, but it's there. I see it, but luckily it's on the back and I flattened it out with all of these books when they came in. So definitely excited about this one. And lastly, I have a fantasy romance book that I am so excited to finally have, and that is Radiance by Grace Draven. So this is one of those books that has been going around Romance BookTube, and just everybody's reading it, raving about it. I know that Avery from Avery Loves Books loves this. You have Riley from Riley Marie. Pretty much everyone that has read this book absolutely adores and loves it. These are about a human girl, and I think he's like an alien race or something. So they are, I think, forced into marriage of convenience trope, all of the above. Oh my goodness, give it me all of that. I'm ready for it. But I really need to start reading some more fantasy romance, because I either read romance or I read fantasy. Why not mix up the two? So here we go. I have this one. I'm so excited to finally, you know, figure out what all the hype is about for myself. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching my little book haul, or rather big book haul, because I have 12 books, which is absolutely crazy because I've held off for so long from buying books, and then I just go and purchase like a lot. And that's not even counting the ebooks that I've recently purchased as well. So if you have any thoughts or opinions, or if you've read any of these books, let's chat about it, talk about it in the comments down below. And I hope you have a great day and happy reading. Bye!